This is a brief note, brief talk on a law and social transformation. What is social transformation and how the law is linked with the social transformation? Social transformation is nothing but the changes that are required to make in the society from one phase to other phase or one state to other state. It is a requirement in the interest of the society. It's a broader interest of the society for the welfare of every entity of the society. That is exactly the transformation is required. How the law plays the role. There are two issues are involved. How the society can bring the changes through a law and how the law can bring the changes in the society through for the transformation. Here, when we are talking about the law and social change, law is an authoritative and enforceable boundary for the society, which will give the rules and regulations. We can also call what are the principles of do's and don'ts. There may be common or there may be specific do's and don'ts in the society, depending on the various segments of the society. How the impact of the laws on the society that will decide for any changes, whether the changes are required or not, whether the law should bring the changes has to be thought of when we are talking about social change or transformation. Similarly, law is made due to the evolution of the changes in the society. So formation of the law due to the evolution of the changes and making the laws for the changes in the society. These are the two interconnected with each other for the law and social change. There are two theories with respect to the social change. One is the linear theory of social change, other one is the cyclic theory of the social change. What is linear theory? Linear theory is something like a vertical or lateral or whatever we say. It is a proper evolution from one stage to other stage. There are no sudden changes that would happen. Let us talk from the primitive society, uncivilized society, to the latest modern or a civilized society. The various centuries, various decades. What are the changes are there? They are changed through a evolution process. This is all a predictable, these are all a systematic changes that could occur. And this is based on the human interest, human evaluation, their behavior, their relations with the other wings of the society and economic interest, cultural interest. This is a continuous and conscious process. It is a continuous process rather than the conscious process. Continuous process due to the evolution that occurs. This is generally considered as a systematic change. Coming back to the cyclic theory of change. In the cyclic theory, as the name suggests, it will get repeated after a certain time. Whatever the changes, it may not be identical, but many of such changes do occur based on what happened in the past history. Sometimes they repeat. That's why we call history repeats itself for many things. Be it is a attitudes, behaviors, or even the belief system also. So cyclic theory is something which brings back as compared to the lateral or a linear theory. Both the changes do occur in the society. Nothing is exclusive. What are the elements of the social change? So society changes as per the needs and the requirements, and society has different requirements also. So some of the elements that a social change can be brought is with respect to the physical or a geographical conditions, biological conditions, environmental conditions, economic conditions, cultural, psychological, technical, and population conditions. Based on the various aspects, each has its own significance. Geographical changes own significance, how the boundaries are changed. Similarly, biological conditions, human behaviors, human emotions, human sentiments, human relations, all are concerned with the biological. Then the economic, what is the poverty, what is the richness, what exactly the economy in this country or in the society, and the cultural aspects, customs based, traditions based cultural aspects, the psychological attitude or behavior of the people, then the technical advancement of the technology, how the improvement in the technology, development in the technology, how they are changed the society, as well as the population, how the less population or more population, how it will have an impact on the society, then environmental conditions. So these are all the elements that brings the social change. Law, now the law as a tool of control. Why a law should control is the issue. Here the control means giving the limits or boundaries for the various aspects in the society. What to do, what not to do. So how the law will either prevent mishappenings or make the happenings in a proper way. That is how the law is to be used as a tool. Law prescribes certain rules, regulations with an authority. So hence the law has the power to control the society with their behaviors and actions. What type of a controls are required? Again, it depends what society wants and what the law wants. It should be reciprocative in sense law is meant for the society and society needs the law for its better disciplined way of life. So law can be used as a tool to control the do's and don'ts of the society for good of the society. Now, how a law is made? What is the relation between the law and the public opinion? What is the public opinion? And who is the public? Is it a single entity or a society or various segments? And what exactly we need to take the public opinion when we require to make the law? See, with respect to the public opinion and the law, Abraham Lincoln said the government is of the people, by the people, and for the people. That means the people make the law. So, how the people will make? In a democratic parliamentary systems, representative of the people are elected and the representative of the people sit in the parliament through a legislation or assembly and they make the law as per the requirements of the society. That is exactly the public opinion is considered as a law. But in a democratic way, where the majoritarian is always considered as a democracy, sometimes the law which is made by the democratic forum, that is the parliament or assembly, which may not really help all the segments of the society. In such case, how we can say that public opinion is taken into consideration with respect to making the law? So this is one important thing. So in such case, there are other tools where not only just limit in a democratic way sitting in the parliament or assembly, but other forums like any laws proposed to be enacted has to be spread over to the total society with various forums. A questionnaire or a kind of involving the NGOs, other publics, relevant institutions. For example, education policy is made. Well, education policy, Parliament can enact a law. But who are the people involved in the education? All the universities, all the professors, all the whosoever is the media who are interested in the everybody can be involved and take their opinion and those opinions can be discussed and then frame a law. Then only the law is considered to be a democratic way as well as in the interest of the society with respect to taking the public opinion into consideration. Then the law as an instrument to the social change. This is very important because the society is not uniform. Particularly in India, we have a different cultures, different economic conditions, different political conditions, different uh, awareness issues. In addition to that, customs, cultures, religions, caste, and other various segments are there. In such case, there are only two things that should be considered: whether it is good for the society or not, whether any custom is it good or not, how to abolish a system or a custom through a law. So law can be used as an instrument. In fact, when a law is made to oppose certain traditions which are not in the good interest of the systems, like a sati, child labor, or with respect to the child marriage, these are all based on the traditions and customs they are using, but they are not good for the society. So how do we do it? Only the law is the solution for that. Make a law and make all other activities which are not in the interest of the society. In fact, with respect to the social change, one of the sociology scientists or social jurist Roscoe Pound said, law is an authoritative canon of value laid down by the force of a politically organized society. That is what is exactly is happening, politically organized society. But law is also considered as a social engineering tool. How to make the better society using the law. So these are all the things we need to do it. And with there are two ways the law can be used for the social changes. One is through the legislation, others through the revolution. Some of the examples with respect to the revolution is when Raja Ram Mohan Rai, he fought for the sati system. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, widow remarriage and women education system. Guru Nanak Dev advocated the Hindu Muslim unity, equality, and brotherhood. Swami Dayanand Saraswati, women education in equal terms. So, like that, they all come from the public and through a revolution. Then it is not a majoritarian, but it is in the interest of the society. So, that way, the social changes are possible by bringing a law. Other laws brought by the government with respect to the social change include the abolition of child marriage, infanticides, workplace harassment, domestic violence, dowry prohibition, immoral trafficking, women reservation, and there are many more such laws for the social change. And like social changes to bring the downtrodden people, political social reservations, schemes for the upliftment of the economic status, reservations in education or employment for the women and other backward communities. Judicial system brought the PIL, which is a privilege to question the authority and the justice. So thus law is made an instrument for the social change. Many such laws are there for the social change which are enacted. Various laws that are brought a great change in the society in preventing, abolishing the evil customs, habits of the society that are important. That's how the law made an instrument to the social change. Now the sociological school. What is the sociological school? Sociological school is one of the five main schools of the jurisprudence: analytical, historical, philosophical, then the sociological, realistic schools. So sociological school is one important thing, which is a school, a thought of jurisprudence based on the society and its needs and interests. There are several sociological jurists are there, philosophers are there, who made a lot of inputs for the sociological school. Some of them are Auguste Comte, Eugen Herlich, Roscoe Pound, Duguet. Uh, so these are all some of the things. Auguste Comte was one of the view that society is an organism and it could progress when it is guided by scientific principles. In the society, when you wanted to bring the social engineering, scientific principles are required. Well, Eugen Herlich argued that society is the main source of the law. Law is derived from the social needs. Roscoe Pond compared the lawyers with the engineers. He argued that the objective of a law is to solve the conflict between the individual interest as well as the state interest. So these are all some of the important parameters with respect to the sociological. Social registration. What is a social legislation? Social legislation is nothing but a legislation brought by the government to endeavor to protect the rights of the individuals in relation to their families and other social relationships. They are concerned both with the personal laws as well as the social laws. So any injustice that could happen due to the customs or traditions for the individuals, including the women and children, a social legislation will help in eliminating such an injustice. The main purpose of the social legislation is to ensure that participation of the society in lawmaking for the betterment of the society. Law as a product of the traditions, culture, how there is a issues with respect to the tradition cultures and how the colonization made a different things with respect to the law. See, normal sources of the law include customs, traditions, culture, precedents, legislation, social results, etc. When the laws are made from the traditions, it changes from the time to time. Like change is the only constant in the world, always the change is required. Society is changing, accordingly laws are changing. The time when a particular law is made may not be good when the next generation. So think about all those things when the Shastras, Smritis, which they were fundamental principles of the human society, they were also different type of a Varna systems and all those things. And in the ancient history, we also have the Yuga Dharma called Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga, where the principles from one yuga to other yuga and challenges from one yuga to other yuga are different. And the values, of course, we call as a deterioration from one yuga to other yuga, how the social changes are to be there that has to be thought of. Like how the laws are made and how the laws require to be changed. But now coming back to the various histories in the medieval and all that during the Mughal period in India, there are so many different laws are there. Ultimately, in the colonial rules, the British brought different type of laws. There were two laws that were running in the British India, one exclusively given to the princely states and the independent states, and others those who are directly under the British rule. The main purpose of the British law is to exploit the Indians for their benefits. So they try to enforce the laws that were used in the British in India just to exploit the Indians. That is how the colonial laws framed were not good for all the Indians all the time. Now there are so many changes are there. Although some of the laws which are still maintained like a IPC, Evidence Act and all those things, they are still in the use, but there are so many amendment changes are required and still it is in the making of a modifications are bringing in new laws. All some of the issues with the colonization and how the laws have to be made. Now common law system, is it possible to bring in India? What is a common law? Common law, as legally understood, set up the rules and policies meant for each and every citizen, residents of the country, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, region, gender. But India being a multicultural with multi-level development, backwardness, multilingual, multi-religious and other segments, is it possible to have a common law? Because the belief system is more powerful than the legal system in India. But belief system is a private issue, legal system is a public issue. How the private and public can be brought under the same platform is one challenge to bring the common law in the country.